Previously on the Pastor's Chronicles.
Ohio, your 4, then you got the 4-1, okay, and New Jersey. All right, and look, so 2 dead, 12 injured after New Jersey house party shooting at what? 2-1. Come on, people. You see that? 2 dead, 12 injured. And what time did it happen? 2:12. 2:12. That's perfectly put together. 12. 1 subtract 12 is what? 11. 12. 1 subtract 12 is 11. And 4, 1, or let's break it down like this. You got 4. 2 times 4 is 8. There go your 4, and there go your 1 a.m. when the young men went in shooting at Zero-Days. Okay, a house party. Gunfire erupted, killing at least 2 people and wounded a dozen more. A man and a woman were killed in the shooting, police said, and at least 12 people, more people were shot, right? At what? 11:50. Here it is, people. Here it is. There go 11 right there, right? Take 1 from 11. That's what? 40. And when did they say they was going? Watch this. When did these men, these 2 young men, when did they put up stating why they was going to kill the people at the school? 40 p.m. Here it is. 11:40 p.m. 1 subtract 5 is 40. 11:40 p.m. and at 11:40 a.m. the gunman went in and started killing those young elementary students. Okay, let's go down. South Carolina. 1 subtract 3 is what? 12. There go your 11 right there, and there go your 3. 3 times 11 is the 33rd degree number. Okay? And shooting happened in North Charleston, South Carolina. Saturday night, left what? 14-year-old dead. And 13 others wounded. Here it is. They go to 4 and 1, people. 4 times 1 is what? They go your 44 again, just like the cop car. You got your 11, 4 times 1, 44 times 1, 44, you're 4 and 1. Okay? You're 4 and 1. You're 4 and 1. Welcome to Zero-Days Chronicle. Before starting the video, make sure to smash that like button. Do it now, it only takes a second to do it. And hit the subscribe button and the bell to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever I upload new chronicles. Also, visit my website, that is tpchronicles.com. There you can read articles and see videos that cannot be uploaded on YouTube. You don't want to miss those videos. The link is in the description box below. Also, join me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, TikTok, social platforms. If you are down with the campaign, type CN, which stands for Chronicle Nation, in the comment section. On that note, let's get into this next video, and it goes like this.
Agenda 21 is kind of a code name for a master plan originated at the United Nations to change the political and economic system of the world to one of total collectivism. And in order to do that, people must not be allowed to have independence. They must be dependent on the state for everything. Otherwise, they won't be easily controlled by the state. That means they can't have private property, mostly. They cannot have land of their own. They have to live in, preferably, high-rise apartments that are provided to them by the state as a benefit, so to speak. Oh, good, we got a free apartment. But these people at the top want all humans to be dependent on the largesse of the state. That means that they don't want anybody living out in the boonies. Anybody that's got a couple of acres of land and his own water supply and can grow his own food and that kind of thing, or have some sheep or some chickens, these people are a threat to the collectivist society because they aren't going to go to the politicians and say, please feed me, please clothe me, please give me shelter. They tend to be independent. That's the secret behind Agenda 21. They want people out of the country. They want corporations out there growing all the food and that kind of thing, but they don't want anybody living out there because that way they cannot be controlled. In order to control mankind, we have to get them all into the big cities. We have to rack them up and stack them up, get them dependent on the state for their food, their shelter, their electrical power, their water, everything. That's the dirty secret behind Agenda 21.
Welcome back to TPC, which stands for the Pastors Chronicles. This is Zero-Day Chronicles, and now we are at Chapter 1E. Before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you won't miss out whenever I upload new Chronicles. Be a part of this movement, the Chronicle Nation. Your likes and comments will also help the algorithm so many people can see this video. We touched on many things in our previous video, and I do urge you to look at the first couple of videos before starting this one for complete understanding, so there will be no foolish judging and half-cocked malicious attitudes and scoffing because of lack of knowledge. Now that we've seen the importance of the numerics and how the Dragon or Drago Brotherhood uses them to schedule their ferocious events, let's look at their meanings. Since 11 is very important and has been the number pointed out in Zero-Day and the great shootings for a long time, let's start there with number 11. Before we break down the meaning of what the occults believe that 11 means. And that don't mean because you're 11 years old or something dealing with 11 that you are Satanist or whatever. These people hijack the things of God and put meanings behind it to further their wicked events and ferocious things that they're doing. So I don't want you to get off on the fact of saying that, oh man, because I'm this number or I'm seeing these numbers, boom, boom, bam, there's some kind of spiritual meaning behind it. Unless you're looking in the scriptures, unless you know certain scriptures and whatnot, and God show you certain scriptures, you go to the Bible and look them up. But the devil used them to further his wickedness and deception. So many of the idols of the past pagan societies have been formed in the likeness of fish, birds, animals, the sun, the moon, and the stars. And you know what God said? God said that the people had rejected him and turned to worshiping man and four-footed idols, images and animals and stuff of that nature in Romans chapter 1. He also said man turned away from the Creator and started worshiping the creation. This is where we at today, where you have the occultists looking at numbers, Satan putting these numbers before him, and there's certain meanings behind these numbers. and people and they all reacting to these numbers by events and murders and all kind of things like we're seeing today.
3 people were killed and at least a dozen others were injured when gunfire rang out on Philadelphia's popular South Street, according to police.
Yesterday was a dark day for Philadelphia. And while many of us were out enjoying the beautiful day in the city, horrendous and unthinkable acts happened in a very popular local and tourist hangout.
Hundreds of people were gathered when just before midnight, police say several shooters began firing. Police say an officer fired back at a gunman who then dropped his weapon and fled the scene.
There are at least 2 guns that have been recovered from the scene, one with an extended magazine.
Also overnight, police say 3 people were killed when gunfire erupted in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
3 fatalities have been confirmed, 2 of which are related to gunshot wounds and 1 of which is related to injuries sustained after being struck by a vehicle.
These 2 incidents, just the latest in a string of mass shootings. 10 black people were killed at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. And early Saturday in Phoenix, a shooting at a strip mall. 100 people gathered for an apparent party, 9 of them wounded. A 14-year-old girl killed. The research group Gun Violence Archive tallying 239 mass shootings so far this year, many now calling on lawmakers to do something. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy telling CNN he believes Congress is closer than ever before to reaching an agreement on gun reform.
I've never been part of negotiations as serious as these. There are more Republicans at the table talking about changing our gun laws.
Parents of victims and survivors of the mass shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde will appear before a House committee on Capitol Hill next week in an effort to stress the devastation brought on by gun violence. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
This is why Jesus said you're going to hear rumors of these things, you're going to see these things, because the Drago Brotherhood was prophesied to do these things. Now we are learning what's happening in between what Christ said, because he didn't really go into details because it wasn't for that time. But when he said you would have rumors of wars, he said that there will be earthquakes, famines, things of that nature, pestilence, all kind of things in that nature, is because the synagogues of Satan will be responsible for these things. The Bible said these are the beginning of sorrows. So again, the occultists, they not only did they believe in or worship, these idols of birds and animals and all this kind of stuff. The occultists also worship science. They worship mathematical or mathematics, underlying science. They literally believe that numbers possess inherent powers on their own. There's a man by the name, he was a Satanist, and he was highly significant in the latter part of the 19th century. His name was W. Wayne Weiscott, and I probably butchered his name, but anyway, he was a follower of the Pythagoreanism, and they referred every object or planet, man, idea, and essence to some number or another. They also believed that symbols explain all ideas concerning the nature of things. And the same with numerics or numerology. They feel like that they believe that it explains secrets of nature and revelations. They believe that numbers are a key to ancient views, spiritually and physically, to the evolution of the present human race. And they believe that all systems of religious mysticism are based upon numerals. Please take this time to subscribe, hit the bell to turn on your notifications. You may need to come back sometime Tuesdays and Thursdays around 5:45 Eastern Standard Time because YouTube believes in shadow blocking. which means everyone will not get notifications, because what they're trying to do is destroy all channels like this that exposes what the enemies are doing. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not endorsing this guy here. He's teaching Pythagoreanism to his congregation. He's a Catholic father. The Catholic Church need to really get back to the Bible and stop introducing a lot of paganism to their followers, okay? So I just want you to listen to what this guy said. And he's starting off with the triangle, which actually indicates the worship of Satanism, because they follow the triangle, which is actually Egyptian philosophy the synagogues of Satan actually believes in, but maybe so he's introducing this to his followers, which in turn, is not nothing new to the Catholic Church, because they also mingle paganism with Christianity. So here you go.
Theorem. Remind me, what's the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Boy, that's pressing some memory. So if you take one side of a right triangle, and square it, plus another side of a right triangle and square it, you'll have the third side squared. Ooh, so Pythagoras was credited with that. And how interesting that we have here a whole group of disciples, of followers, who are going to be following the footsteps of this guy who had various mathematical and religious beliefs and superstitions, which are going to be fascinating.
In order for you to understand the enemy, you must understand what they believe in. They're not like the watered down Christianity, faith without no works. No, they have their faith with their works. Their works manifest their faith. Why you think they stand like this? Why you think you see all these things? Why you think you see all these occult hand gestures and signs? You know why? Because what this man is about to show you, what you about to hear, and I'm not going to play all of it because it's a bunch of foolery. This is the religion of the synagogues of Satan as a whole. Mathematics, numerology, superstitions, mysticism. All these create events. All these equal to the events that Christ said that was going to happen. Weather modification, wars, pestilence, famines, starvation, all kind of things that we are, devastation and chaos that we are experiencing in this world. It's because the powers that be, the elites that work for the great power of Revelation chapter 18, they do these things based off of numerology. All the wars that you're seeing, the killings, the massacres, family, it's because of mathematics, numerology. And all those that's throwing up these hand gestures, they know about it. They understand. Let's keep going.
So Pythagoras was an Ionian, so he came from that culture that we were talking about, moved to South Italy about 500 years before Jesus. Iamblichus called him the leader and father of divine philosophy, a god, a daemon, or a divine man. Daemon in Greek was simply meaning a supernatural person, right? He was not like the rest of us. This Pythagoras was like a god.
There's only one God, family. There's only one God, and the Word became flesh. That Greek word, the original term for word means spokesman. The only spokesman or word that came in flesh was Christ, family. One equal to God, but they looked at this man as a God. Now keep in mind, the Catholic Church believe that the Pope is God, that he is Jesus Christ under veil of flesh, and also he's crowned with a triple crown, Vicarious Filii Dei, and Roman numerals that add up to 666. And Vicarious Filii Dei is blasphemy because it claimed the office of the Holy Spirit. So this man wasn't a God, he was somebody sent by the devil. Okay, let's keep going.
Pythagoras had a scientific spirit, and Pythagoreans were aesthetic and religious, simply meaning that math became for them a sort of religion. And their religion was math. So it's going to be fascinating to follow what it is that they say. They believed in metempsychosis, that the soul, that when you die, the soul goes out of you and lives beyond death. How interesting that we have this belief that, oh, that person died. I went to the funeral home, saw the body in the casket, but you know what? That was just that person's body. What happened? The soul came out of the body. Metempsychosis, he goes even a step further. The soul comes out of the body and goes into, whoa, another being. Interesting. So whether that's another person, or a tree, or a bird, or a stone, whatever it is, the soul comes out of one thing and goes into another.
Family, I had enough of this crap. This is hurting my daggone ears. But I wanted you to hear that part because now you understand what alter ego means. Alter ego, where they believe, the synagogues of Satan believe that a spirit, they can conjure or channel certain spirits in the universe because this is witchcraft, family. It's just witchcraft, just like the Egyptians or the Babylonians. They believe that they had the spirit of a conqueror or whatever. All of this is witchcraft, family. The Bible doesn't teach this. The Bible teaches that death is sleep. At the end of time, God going to resurrect everybody to receive their reward. That's biblical. The occults teach, because this has always been the occult's belief. This is where you get purgatory. This is where you get internal, when somebody died, to go straight to a burning hellfire without receiving judgment. This has always been something that the occults believed, and it found its way into Christianity. But this is it, fam. This is exactly what they believe in. And these demonic spirits, which they are, with these numerology and mathematics and all this type of beliefs, is what's controlling the elites to do what they're doing in our world. The sacredness of numbers begin with the great first cause, the one, and ends only with the naught or zero, the symbol of the infinite and boundless universe, according to The Occult Power of Numbers by Westcott, page 15. So basically, what is this guy saying, Pastor? To reiterate, he's basically saying the occult or the Drago Brotherhood or the Dragon Brotherhood, Satan Brotherhood, they believe that numbers are a key to the ancient views of cosmology, spiritually as well as physically, to the evolution of the present human race. All systems of religious mysticism are based upon numbers. And so they believe that numbers are sacred because it has in itself its own powers, and it comes with a message. It's like the number 11 is important to them. Why? Because the number 11 is the Aquarius or Aquarian number, since Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac. The Satanists always places great power in numbers, especially the black magic Satanists. As we have stated, Satanists believe that a carefully planned event must be carried out according to the correct numbers, or it may not be successful. They go to great lengths to make an event occur according to the correct numbers, as Westcott explained. So 11 is the essence of all that is sinful, harmful, and imperfect. That's why 11 is very important. Multiplications are also important, such as 22, 33, 44, as we've seen in our previous video, that things surrounding around 22, 33, 44, 11, 666, 99, 8877.
Countless people will hate the New World Order and will die protesting against it. H.G. Wells' The New World Order 1939. We shall have a world government, whether we like it or not. The only question is whether world government will be achieved by consent or by conquest. James Warburg, February 17, 1950.
So, people, we're going to have an extension on chapter 1E so we can continue to understand and break down the numerology number 11. Godspeed.